Bhaja Govindam, offered by Sri Adi Sankaracharya
and his disciples. Shatrau mitre
putre bandhav ma kuru yatnam vigraha sandhav sarvasminnapi pasyatmanam sarvatrosrija bheda jnanam. Do not strive or waste your energy to fight against or to make friends with your enemy, friend, children, or relative. Seeking the self everywhere, lift the sense of difference, the plurality born out of ignorance of the truth.
This verse is offered by Sri Shankara's disciple Medhati Tira.
It is emphasized here that it is a waste of time to try and make friends with people or fight with your enemies. The reason is that the plurality that is seen, the sense of difference that is felt between you and others, is born out of ignorance of the truth, which is all is the self, the one and only all-pervading reality. Therefore, leave the worldly involvements alone, see the self in everyone and everything, everywhere, at all times. Kamam krodham lobham moham tyaktvatmanam bhavaya koham atma jnana vihina mudha te pachyante naraka nigudha. Leaving desire, anger, greed, and delusion, the seeker sees in the self, that am I. They are deluded, those who do not have self-knowledge, and they are consequently tortured in hell.
This verse is offered by Sri Shankara's disciple Bharati Vamsha.
In order for a seeker to clearly see in the self, that am I, the mind has to become pure. And the mind can become pure only when we leave all the bad qualities that we have accumulated so far. The major bad qualities that prevent us from turning inward, perform self-enquiry or meditation, and realize our real nature, our blissful self, are the following qualities. They are desire, anger, greed, and delusion. Constantly being entangled in these qualities, those who are deluded do not strive to get self-knowledge, and because they do not have self-knowledge, they consequently suffer in hell. In other words, unless you know your real blissful nature, you will be caught in worldly affairs and suffer. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram Dhyeyam Shripati Rupamajashram Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam Deyam Dina Janayacha Vittam. Bhagavad Gita and Sahasranama, 1,000 names of God, should be chanted. Always the form of God should be meditated upon. The mind should be led towards the company of the wise. Wealth should be shared with the needy.
This verse is offered by Sri Shankara's disciple Sumatir.
Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Sri Krishna to King Arjuna, pretty much has all the guidance for a person to lead a skillful worldly life and also to turn within and realize the self. Therefore, it should always be read and understood. Chanting the 1,000 names of God will also be very useful in purifying the mind and make it focused. One should also meditate on the form of God. The mind should be averted from excessive worldly transactions and should be led towards the company of the wise, the sages, and the scriptures. One should also share the wealth with the needy people. Sukhata kriyate rama
भोगः
paschadanta sharire
रोगः
yadyapi loke maranam sharanam tadapi na munchati papacharanam. Readily one indulges in carnal pleasures. Later on, alas, come diseases of the body. Even though in the world the ultimate end is death, still the man does not leave his sinful behavior.
This verse is offered by Sri Sankara himself.
The nature of an ordinary person is described here. Typically, a person indulges in activities that have to do with carnal pleasures. But when one is completely lost in the pleasures of the flesh, naturally, diseases of the body will follow. Even though we see people passing away due to different reasons, yet the fact is not absorbed in our mind that the body's lifetime comes to an end. Even knowing this, a person still continues to indulge in sinful behaviors. Artham anartham bhavaya nityam nasti tatah sukhalesha satyam putradapi dhana bhajam bhitihi sarvatraisha vihita ritihi. Wealth is meaningless. Thus contemplate constantly. The truth is that there is no happiness at all to be obtained from it. To the rich man, there is fear even from his own son. This is the way of wealth everywhere.
This verse is offered by Sri Sankara himself.
This verse is meant for those people who are excessively attached to wealth. Wealth itself is not necessarily a problem, but excessive attachment to wealth is condemned here. It is advised that one should contemplate constantly that wealth is meaningless because, contrary to people's belief, there is really no happiness at all in wealth. It may give comforts, but it will not give happiness. Moreover, wealth can be actually a problem. Rich people fear their own friends and relatives. Very often, rich people do not know who their real friends are. Sometimes, dangers surround a very wealthy person. And it is said here that this is not a rare happening in a particular place or country, but this is the way of wealth everywhere. Pranayamam pratyaharam nitya nitya viveka vicharam japya sameta samadhi vidhanam kurvavadhanam mahadavadhanam. The control of all activities of life's manifestations in you. The sense withdrawal from their respective sense objects. The reflection consisting of discrimination between the permanent and the impermanent, along with japa, chanting, and the practice of reaching the total inner silence, samadhi, all these perform with care, with great care.
This verse is offered by Sri Sankara himself.
A list of austerities and meditative practices are offered here to be practiced by a sincere seeker. Besides mentioning all the things to be done, this verse emphasizes that they should be done carefully and with great attention. Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhaktah Samsaradachirabhava Muktah Chendriya Manasa Niyama Devam Drakshyasi Nija Hridayastham Devam. O devotee, surrendered at the lotus feet of the Guru, may you become liberated soon from samsara, the perceived world of delusion, through the discipline of the sense organs and the mind. You will then come to experience the real self that dwells in your heart.
This verse is offered by Sri Sankara himself.
This is a great blessing to a sincere seeker and devotee of the Guru and God. At the same time, a profound instruction is given to realize the blissful reality which is one's own nature. And the teaching is to control and discipline the sense organs and the mind. If this is done, the real self that dwells in one's own heart will be realized. Mudha kaschana vayyakarno dukrung karana dhyayana dhurinaha Srimad Shankara Bhagavat Shishyai Bodhita Asichodhita Karanaha. Thus, a deluded grammarian, lost in grammar rules, cleansed of his narrow vision, was shown the light by Shankara and his apostles. You may recall that Bhaja Govindam started when Sri Sankara saw an old man totally involved in memorizing grammar rules. This is when Sri Sankara approached the old man and pointed out to him that what he was doing was a waste of time and energy, because what is the use of all these things when one's lifetime comes to an end? These useless activities, such as memorizing grammar rules, will not save a person when the appointed end of lifetime happens. Sri Sankara did not just point out the old man's mistake, but went on to offer his guidance to him and gave detailed instructions to follow in order to turn within and realize the self. What was started by Sri Sankara was continued by his disciples, who offered their advice in the path of realization of the self. Thus ends the great teaching of Bhaja Govindam.